How do I move past what my mate said to the affair partner? Hi, Rick. In one of the many texts I read between my husband and the affair partner, she asked him if he was taking me to his class reunion. He told her no, stating, "She is kind of an awkward drag at my class reunion. I had more fun the night I went alone." When telling him to enjoy his family gathering on Christmas morning, he told her it wouldn't be the same because I didn't matter to him. This weighs on my mind a whole lot. He said he didn't mean that or anything else he said to her. Our marriage had gotten on the stale side, but we got along okay. We never fought, so it was far from dark or painful from where I stood. We are 14 months past D-Day from his 10-month affair, and he swears he only said this to make her feel good about herself, even though at the time he told me he was trying to figure out a way to break it off with her, but feared retaliation. I'm so hurt by these comments. I know there were a lot more. This is tearing me apart and holding me back, thinking that's how he feels about me. He treats me so lovingly now, which he never did before. I don't know how to move past this. I feel like I need to try to be someone I'm not by acting like a social butterfly, but that's just not me. First off, I hate that you ended up reading those texts. You know, it's funny what I find that people will say things in a moment of anger or when they're drunk or maybe in the midst of an affair that later someone will say, "I knew that's what you thought," or they'll hold what they said in kind of an altered state or in a strange situation as what the real truth is, when in reality, that's not the truth. It is possible that at that moment, that's exactly what your husband was even telling himself, that it wouldn't be as much fun going with you. But also at that moment, he was deceiving you, deceiving himself, deceiving a lot of people. I would say he may not even been in his right mind, which means that where he's at today and what he feels about you today may not be anything like what he was saying to himself back then. Back then, he was trying to justify his own guilt. And the way we justify our own guilt and our own shame in the midst of an affair is by catastrophizing or putting a negative lens on our mate and looking at everything we can, magnifying, it's called magnification, magnifying any sort of thing that we've ever seen as negative about our mate to help justify our actions so that we don't feel bad about what we're doing. That's why people will sit there, morally justify an affair by saying something like, "Well, I was in love." Well, you know what? It doesn't justify it by any means. But they somehow makes it better in their mind somehow if it had some sort of justification. But once you come out of an affair, all of those moral justifications attached to the affair, the things you were using to justify to keep you from feeling bad about yourself, are exposed and they go away. My hunch is if he's treating you lovingly now, is that, yeah, he may have felt that in that moment when he sent that text. But after the lights came on and the moral justification seemed just stupid, he realized he was dang fortunate to be with you. So I think you need to look at it as two different states of mind. The person he is now versus who he was when he was in an affair trying to morally justify everything that he was doing. But I also understand why that would keep replaying in your mind, and you have to make the decision. Has he changed? Maybe your husband, and you could consider doing something like the EMS online course, potentially working with other couples, and you seeing how he is juxtaposed and working with those other couples can also help you see that he's working at not being that man that he was back there, that that's not where he is today. And if you can come to that place where you can see him differently, I think you could find some peace and begin to realize that's not how he sees you now.